All right, everybody, here we go. Carson Meredith with you from the Wave Weather Now studios once again. How'd you sleep? Goodness, what a morning it was. It is now 2 o'clock Eastern time on this, for now, rainy Saturday afternoon as round 2 of our Wave Weather Alert Day has begun. But so far, it's just rain. Everything is behaving. We'll just jump right into it, give you that big picture of radar at this hour. It is a steady, soaking rain across the region. If you were watching us during our sunrise newscast, our second half of sunrise, if you will, between 8 and 10 a.m. this morning, we were talking about some sunshine that was trying to peek through. If that sunshine held on a little longer than it did, we'd have more problems on our hands, but the clouds moved right back in, and here comes rain. Largely just a steady, soaking rain. There have been some thunderstorms this afternoon. We had some pretty loud rumbles here in downtown at the station. I think it was around 12:45, 1 o'clock, but nothing severe. And as we look at the wide view across wave country, I don't see a significant severe weather potential in our area through the rest of this evening, which is great. Is that me saying that we are totally clear of severe weather? Not necessarily. We're going to explain why here over the next however long we decide to stay on. Let's recap briefly what we had this morning. What a wild setup that was, right? So we expected these storms to weaken as they moved closer to I-65. They started to weaken a little bit, and then as those storms moved into Du Bois County, Indiana, which is the far western portions of wave country, the storms just ramped right back up. It was around 4 a.m. And every little icon you see on this map is a damage report that has been confirmed by our friends at the National Weather Service. And you notice county-wide in Du Bois County, they have seen widespread tree and power line damage across the whole county. But that's all it's been, is tree and power line damage in Du Bois County. Then those storms kind of relaxed around 6 a.m. Kevin Hart and I are thinking, okay, round one's winding down. Kevin went home so he could get some sleep because he had been here all night with me. And then what was left of round one decided to ramp right back up. And that set the stage for what many of you saw this morning, which was hail. Big hail in some spots. And there were 2 cores of hail that we had. This was during the 7 o'clock hour. That first hail core really got going out near Lanesville and Georgetown, out there at Floyd and Harrison County, Indiana, and trekked right through the northern parts of Metro Louisville. Remember the Metro, we talk about some of the outlying counties too, not just Jefferson. But you see that stretch from Georgetown through the Knobs, through New Albany, into Clarksville, close to Sellersburg, and just south of Charlestown, went through Prospect and Goshen. We saw several reports of quarter-size hail, half-dollar size hail, which is about 1.25 inch in diameter. There were even some reports of golf ball size hail with that particular cluster. Let me show the MPing map if I can. You know, I take that back because a lot of those icons have fallen off the map, I believe, from the last 4 hours. We'll check it. Hang on. Yeah. So the MPing reports, those are the reports that you at home send to us or send on the MPing app. And then we get that data from MPing to put it on our weather maps that we show you every day. But it was lit up like a Christmas tree earlier this morning with all of the reports from you folks, with all of that hail that rolled through earlier this morning. But as expected, we got a break. And now round 2 has begun. But at this stage of the game, it's just rain, guys. It's steady rain. And this is really going to put a damper, no pun intended, or maybe it was intended, I don't know, Uh, this is really going to help limit our severe weather potential heading into this afternoon. I'm not saying we're severe clear yet, however. And let's just jump right into it because I've teased you guys on that too many times. Let's zoom things out across the South because the outbreak has begun. Unfortunately, this is going to be a long day for our friends down in Mississippi and Alabama. We'll zoom in on those two states. Couple of areas that we're going to watch down to the south, and like we did overnight, if you were up last night with us, I'm going to go live to a couple of our sister stations that are covering this tornado outbreak as it begins, just to kind of give you an idea of what our friends down to the south are seeing, since our severe weather threat is pretty low here at home for now. So this was the first pocket of severe storms that got underway with this main show a few hours ago. There's a tornado warning for Tupelo, Mississippi. That's just east of Oxford. For those of you familiar with Ole Miss is in Oxford, Mississippi. Tupelo's a little east of Ole Miss. A couple more tornado warnings along Interstate 55. That's kind of the squall line feature with this severe weather event. Okay, that would be more of the damaging winds and more of the spin-up variety tornadoes. This is the stuff that's going to be frightening to watch, to be honest with you, as we go through the afternoon. We've got numerous supercells that have developed in the last hour in southern Mississippi between Jackson and Meridian, and those will continue to progress northeast across central Alabama as we go through the rest of this afternoon. And I apologize for my wave country folks, but I still have a little bit of a following in Huntsville, Alabama, where I was with my prior job. So for anybody in Alabama that is listening to me right now, pay attention to this. This is a red letter day. This is a high risk day. This is a very rare day. We don't get high risk for severe weather very often. Here in our area, we haven't had a high risk since 2013 in southern Indiana or Kentucky, central Kentucky, I should say. So this is a very, very significant severe weather situation that is getting underway down across the deep south. This particular supercell, oh boy. I mean, it's just going to be one after another throughout the day and throughout this evening. So here's one supercell. You can see the notch near Polkville, Mississippi. I mean, that's as classic of a supercell as you're ever going to see. And it just started. I mean, it's just now getting its act together, is that particular storm. We've got more storms to the north up near Carthage, Mississippi, that are trying to develop into supercells. Right now, severe thunderstorm warnings with those. I guarantee you they'll go tornado warning here shortly. Oh boy, look at this. Goodness gracious. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This event's just getting underway, and that is a nasty, nasty supercell near Carmich, Mississippi. I'm not familiar with that part of Mississippi, but that's southeast of Jackson. Let me get a different radar source behind the scenes here. See if any of these storms are already producing tornadoes. So hang tight with me here. And again, we're just going to have a very casual conversation about what things are doing now and, excuse me, where they'll be heading through the rest of the afternoon. So this supercell that I zoomed in on does have a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado. Large and destructive tornado. This is actually a tornado emergency for Carmich, Mississippi. And I believe for Bassfield, or I'm not sure if it's Bassfield or Basefield, forgive me. And if I recall correctly, this part of Mississippi was hit on Easter Sunday 2020 by an EF4 tornado. I think Bassfield or Basefield was hit incredibly hard not too long ago. So this is a tornado emergency for this supercell in southern Mississippi. Right out of the gate, folks. I mean, this is going to be one of those days that we remember for all the wrong reasons down in Mississippi and Alabama. So that's the strongest storm we have at this time. I'm checking a few of the other storms. We'll go back to the north. We're watching this supercell on the Louisiana-Mississippi line. It's not producing a tornado yet. Emphasize the word yet. If you know anybody that goes to Mississippi State, in Starkville, Mississippi, very strong meteorology program in Starkville at Mississippi State. We've got a tornadic supercell getting its act together to the west of Starkville. There it is. So here's Starkville. That's where Mississippi State is. We're watching this supercell. It should go north of Starkville, but if you know anybody that goes to Mississippi State, give them a call. Let them know. And, you know, something I haven't even, I'm just now remembering, we've got a lot of Southeastern Conference basketball fans that are dispersing from Nashville as the conference tournament starts to wind down. So here locally, if you know any Cats fans that have decided to come home after the game last night, they decided to come home early, you may want to give them a call and let them know they're going to run into this pretty heavy rain as they're moving back into Kentucky from Nashville. So, yeah, this is a very, very messy situation. There's a couple of stations I want to kind of jump in on briefly as we continue to monitor these storms. This is Dave Roberts, our sister station at WLBT in Jackson, Mississippi. Let's listen in for a moment.
Highway 13, Highway 43. These are areas that are going to be impacted by this. So again, a very dangerous situation, and we can't stress that enough. We give you tornado warnings quite often here in Mississippi. Tornado emergencies, not so much. I can probably count on one hand how many times we've had them in the last 15 years or so. But there is the actual storm cell. Easy to make out when you're looking at the debris ball here, and easy to make out even from a radar signature. It just lifted a little bit more northeastward. We're also watching that storm now that is southwest of Tylertown. That one's getting closer to the border now and about to jump the border into Mississippi. But again, I feel for you here in Tylertown and Progress. You just got hit by this storm, and we have had reports of campers damaged at least, and maybe worse than that. There are people that were trapped, and Chase observed on the cam that there were some emergency vehicles that were going down that path.
So that is Dave Roberts, the chief meteorologist of our sister station in Jackson, Mississippi. They're getting reports from that large tornado we showed you a moment ago of campers tossed around, and as Dave put it, to paraphrase, might be worse than that. So again, this is a very dire situation already at 2:13 in the afternoon. And this tornado outbreak is just starting down to the south. I'll tune in also briefly into North Alabama. I'll take you live to WAFF, the NBC station in Huntsville. Brad Travis, weather weenies know Brad Travis. He's been in this business for almost 30 years. He's the voice of North Alabama severe
As Brad
weather.
mentioned, these are very messy looking storms. If you just look at it with the blind eye, you really can't see it. A lot of these could be rain wrapped as we had throughout the rest of the day. So it's very important, once a warning is issued, to take it seriously. Make sure you already have a safe place in mind of where you would potentially shelter, Brad.
All right. Thanks, Chelsea. Again, dangerous storm here in Fulton, moving to the east. It's going to be moving east and northeast into Franklin County. So again, we're going to watch this closely. If this gets any worse, we're going to go into continuous coverage on WFF Channel 48 and not just our digital platform.
So they're streaming on their digital platforms, as we were with that first round of severe storms that was rolling closer to our area earlier this morning. And obviously, once those storms did move in to Wave Country, We hopped on the TV side of things to walk everybody through the situation, and that's what our friends down in Huntsville and Jackson will be doing as the day progresses. So let's, again, because I know a lot of us struggle with weather anxiety. I get it. I was a kid. I said it this morning. I was absolutely terrified of severe storms. I would watch Belsky and Harned, and you would hear them doing severe weather coverage, and you're like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. I get it. Let's just say right out of the gate, before we dive deeper into our situation here at home tonight and today and tonight, that the severe weather threat here in wave country is much, much, much lower than what we're seeing across Mississippi and Alabama. Okay. More than anything else, I think a lot of you tonight, today and tonight, are going to see heavy rain and thunder. And that's it. Now, we can't totally ignore the severe weather threat. And here's the reason why. Notice across Middle Tennessee. Let's get the drawing tool out. Here we go. So from Nashville, west of Nashville, down towards Huntsville, Alabama, this zone right here. See how wide open it is? See how there's nothing going on? That warm sector has been largely untapped to our south all day. And what we mean by that is there hasn't been any storms popping up ahead of schedule in the warm sector. Now, that means two things. Number one, it means we could have a potential worst case scenario in Mississippi and Alabama as the day unfolds. We pray that's not the case, but we've already had significant damage in Mississippi. What this also means is, as this rain shield that we have across the Commonwealth at this hour, right through here, kind of the edge of it, as that continues to move north, there is an opportunity for that warm sector to sneak into our southern counties over the next 2 or 3 hours. Should that occur, there may be a narrow window for more severe storms, primarily south of the parkways. So south of the WK Parkway and south of the Bluegrass Parkway. That is not a guarantee. And I will tell you, the northern progression of this rain shield has kind of slowed down a little bit, which would be a very good sign. That would limit the severe weather threat for everybody. But I'm still watching our southern counties in particular, where we've circled here, just to make sure that we don't get that drier air punching in to our southern Kentucky counties. That would allow this line of storms west of Nashville to continue to progress to the north and east and perhaps intensify just a little bit. This is a classic definition, my friends, of a conditional severe weather threat. That means it is a waiting game. And I know you guys hate when we say that because you want to know for sure what's going to happen. So do we. But this is a conditional threat. If the heavy rain and thunder lingers across southern Kentucky, that's all we have to worry about tonight is heavy rain and some minor flooding issues. Speaking of flooding, you notice several flash flood warnings are up for Nashville, down towards Jackson, Tennessee. Speaking of SEC tournament, if you know anybody that is still in Nashville, give them a call, let them know that this line of heavy storms is rolling in and it could cause some flooding and there'll be a lot of lightning. This would not be a good time to be walking Broadway down in Nashville. So again, we'll watch this line of storms as it progresses to the north and east to make sure it doesn't intensify. I will tell you that window of opportunity for severe weather is closing a little bit, which is good. But I'm not ready to say all clear just yet. So that's something we'll kind of be babysitting, nowcasting, as we go through the rest of the afternoon. For most of us, it is just good, soaking, steady rain. Let me go back to the normal radar view, and then we'll get to some comments. I've been going on for 20 minutes, and I haven't had any questions to answer yet, or I haven't answered any. So bear with me. Heavy rain, embedded pockets of thunder, some heavy downpours could cause ponding on the roads. We'll watch for any of those heavier storms I was talking about in southern Kentucky. We'll watch to see how far north they go, not only for the severe weather potential, but also to make sure that those storms don't cause flooding issues, be it river flooding or flash flooding. We'll sit on this radar for a moment, and I'll scan through the comments. There are 825 of you watching us on our social media platforms this afternoon, and we appreciate you guys watching us. However you watch us, whether it be on social media or on Wave Weather Now, the 24/7 live stream, weather live stream that we are very proud of here at Wave. You can track the weather anytime you like. Sorry for the silence. I'm just making sure the comments I put on are actually clean and not spam. Cordell says, have you gone to bed yet? No, I have not. And I probably won't until after our 11 o'clock newscast tonight. But I'm good. Y'all think I'm crazy, but I'm good. I feel fine. Adrenaline, I guess. But I appreciate you guys asking and taking care of me. Means a lot. Lauren is begging me to turn off the hail button. 3 claims later, and I'm done adulting today. Oh, man, Lauren, I hate to hear that. I'm afraid a lot of you are going to have to be dealing with those insurance companies and filing claims. So good luck, Lauren. I'm very sorry to hear that. Again, we had some reports of golf ball size hail, hen egg size hail, as in like a egg that, comes out of a chicken or hen or whatever. Anyway, let's see. John, good point here. The Wave Weather Now stream is, it's about 90 seconds delayed. Yeah, there's nothing we can really do about that, John. You're right, and we appreciate you checking it for us, but that's just the way the internet is, unfortunately. I can't explain why it's that way or whatnot, but it's just the way it is, unfortunately. But again, whether you're watching us on the live stream or on the social media platforms, we appreciate it. A lot of you talking about those tornado emergencies down to the south. Angie has a story to tell about the storms this morning. Driving about 7:15, it was dry. Got to the Georgetown exit off I-64 and wham, wall of rain and hail. It's like driving through a car wash. You couldn't see anything, and the hail sounded like it was going to come through the car. Yeah, a lot of you guys have said this morning that hail was just insanely loud, right? And it makes sense. It was fairly large hail that's smacking against the side of the house and, God forbid, cracking windows. I know a couple of you had to deal with some cracked windows and damaged siding and things like that. So, yeah, wild morning for sure. Nathan's asking about a possible tornado watch this evening. I can't rule it out, especially south of Louisville. I really think here in Louisville, our main focus is going to be heavy rain. We're looking at a solid 1 to 3 inches of rain as we go through the rest of this afternoon and tonight. Bill, Carson's gotten rid of the tie like Jerry Lewis used to on this telethon. That's before your time. Yeah, I know. I know what you're talking about, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, look, I mean, I like my ties. Don't get me wrong. I've got 100 of them, but if we're just going to be sitting here watching radar all day and chatting with you guys, we're going to be a little casual, right? Shonda says, I'm going for that Miami Vice look. I'll take it, Shonda. I'll take it as a compliment. Yeah, a lot of you guys sending those thoughts on thoughts and prayers for our friends down south. Yeah, they're going to have a very, very rough day. Aaron asked, is Kevin asleep? No, he's not. He just texted me about a half hour ago, making sure that things are okay here. And the man never sleeps, y'all. I'm telling you, he does not sleep. But anyway, certainly appreciate him being here this morning to help me out with that severe weather that rolled through. It's very hard, guys. Behind the scenes, there are so many different things we're doing that you don't see on camera during severe weather. So that makes it really tough to do severe weather solo by yourself. And it's a credit to our weather team and our entire news team for being able to sort out all the messy details from that first round of severe storms earlier today. It's a team effort. Let's see. All right. So let's see where things stand to the south again. And then we'll really dive into what we've got coming this evening. So again, supercells are just lining up like trains on a track across southern Mississippi. Where was that one that had the tornado emergency? I think it was this one near Basefield. Forgive me. I truly don't know what that town is called. You know what, friends? That's a debris ball right there. Oh boy. That is a large, large tornado. Goodness. Whoops. There we go. So that's a significant tornado on the ground near Bassfield, Mississippi. This supercell near Tylertown, Mississippi is getting its act together. I would not be surprised if that has a large tornado shortly. The rotation on that thing is remarkable. Let's chime in. Let's go back to our friends at WLBT in Jackson, Mississippi for a brief moment. Then we'll talk about what we're seeing here at home. For some reason, the video keeps pausing on me.
For sure.
Should be
we'll take a look
live
at the hail tracker. Now, this is over the last hour, so this could potentially be from the previous storm. So let me just trim up the time on it, and maybe it'll take away
back
just
it up
a little
just
bit.
a little bit. But bottom line is these are hail producers, these storms. And guys in the back, if we can, let's pull up the when we get a chance, we'll pull up that camera again for the Tylertown area so we can see that storm a little bit better. The other news to share with you is Scott County no longer has a tornado warning. So the only tornado warnings that we have right now are southeastern Pike, most of Walthall, and Jefferson Davis County. So that's our focus right now. We're back now. No, that's Monticello, guys. Let's pull up Tylertown. And if we can get a second, you go to just Tylertown one, that'd be great. And in Tylertown,
that supercell
we're going to be looking
near.
look at this, Chase, guys. Look at that. Ane?
Oh boy!
Here we go
this.
again. Is this deja vu? I mean,
same
look
track.
at that. Same track. Same track. I don't know if you can bump it a little bit, or that would actually make it worse. But bottom line is rotating sky, and looks like it's going right through the trees again. We're looking west. Notice that power truck's been there for a while with his flashing lights on. I guess he's waiting it out to make sure that he's not in the path of the, otherwise that's going to create a whole other problem. Got a low hanging sky right there, and it looks like that could be a tornadic signature in the distance again.
It does.
Unbelievable. It's rare, that you catch one on a camera. It's even more rare that you catch two
in a row,
minutes after each other in the same place. So they're coming to us. We're not really looking for this stuff. We're getting some rain, obviously, on the camera lens there, folks. Looks like the storm's now moving northwest of Tylertown. We're looking due west, if I'm not mistaken.
So this is from Tylertown,
so
Mississippi.
Here, Dave, looks like in Pike County, that storm has now passed you by.
And this is a second supercell that is going through Tylertown, Mississippi, which was just hit by that first supercell that had the tornado emergency to the north and east. So Tylertown, Mississippi was hit by this first tornado with this supercell that's now near Bassfield, Prentice, and Collins, Mississippi. That live camera that you just saw was tracking this second supercell moving near Tylertown that, I mean, if it's not producing a tornado yet, it's going to be here in the next few minutes. Wow. Goodness gracious. What an awful situation we're going to have down in Mississippi and Alabama tonight. All right, quick look at the severe weather risk, because I don't want to keep rambling for too long. You notice the high risk in pink covers eastern Mississippi and much of central Alabama. This includes Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Jackson, Mississippi, Starkville, Columbus, so on and so forth. Here in our area, towards the top of the map, we still have a slight risk in yellow that covers our entire region for the most part. That is a level 2 risk on that 1 to 5 scale. So we got the rare level 5 risk in pink across Mississippi and Alabama. Up here, it's a level 2. So the risk is much, 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 much lower here in our area. It's not a 0 risk. It's not a 0 risk. As we discussed a few minutes ago, we're going to have to watch our southern counties in particular. If we get some drier air, if we get that warm sector lifting into our area, there might be a narrow window for a few severe storms as we go through the rest of this afternoon. I think that window would be between 4 and 8 p.m. And again, this looks like it's, mainly going to be south of Louisville, south of the parkways for our severe weather threat this evening. Now, keep in mind, the alert day is not just for the severe storms. It's also for the risk of heavy rain. We're all seeing that steady and at times heavy rain now. We'll continue to see that for several more hours, likely through the rest of the afternoon and into much of the evening. And then we also have to keep an eye on the gusty winds. It's a cold, or I don't want to say cold, it's a chilly, blustery rain, which is just terrible. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's just terrible to be outside at. So the alert day is for a combination of everything, guys. It's for the gusty winds outside of storms. It's for the risk for heavy rain and flooding. And it's for the risk for maybe a few severe storms over the next 5 hours that could have, once again, damaging wind gust, perhaps some hail, and perhaps a spin-up tornado. I can't entirely rule that out. I do think the tornado threat is very low, but it's not 0. So let's not let our guards down just yet. And again, I think most of that severe weather threat would be across southern Kentucky as the evening goes on. Most of you are just seeing what our friends in E-Town are seeing. Rain. Heavy at times. Ponding on the road, certainly possible, so keep that in mind as you're out and about. But we haven't seen any flooding issues just yet. And, you know, if you think about it, we haven't seen a ton of rain since that big flooding event back in February, which was 1 month ago today, if you can believe it. I don't know what it is about the 15th of the month, but here we are. So we can take a lot of this rain that we've seen so far. Now, if you're down across southern Kentucky, I wouldn't rule out some rainfall amounts around 2 to 3 inches. That might cause the Green River to go up a little bit, and that could cause flash flooding. So we're not totally ignoring that flash flood threat either. Temperature-wise, we have dropped. We were hovering in the upper 60s earlier this morning in between those storms. Now the second round has moved in. We are in the low 60s. It is very breezy, of course. Sustained winds around 15 miles an hour. We'll keep that threat for gusts upwards of 40 to maybe 50 throughout the evening. When you look at the temperatures we talked about, get rid of that. Upper 50s to low 60s. This is not an environment that's necessarily conducive for widespread severe weather. It's just not. But what keeps the severe weather risk going is the wind energy. I mean, it's unbelievable how much wind energy we have in the atmosphere. It's a classic high shear, low CAPE setup. CAPE, convective available potential energy, storm fuel. We don't have a ton of it. But we've got a ton of wind energy. So we can't totally ignore that severe weather threat through the evening. Next 12 hours, we'll keep the rain chances at 100% across the board, just no matter what. Then we get past 8 o'clock tonight. The severe weather threat will be done by 8 o'clock. I am confident saying that. The question is, how long does the heavy rain stick around? And the models have been a couple hours too fast with this system so far. At least they were this morning. We were talking about those storms arriving in Louisville around 5, 6 o'clock. It was 7 or 8 instead. So there's the chance this heavy rain could linger later into the evening, past 8, 9, 10 o'clock. But the severe weather threat, as low as it is for now, will be done. And then that 60% chance for rain will be more so hit and miss showers as we go through the rest of this evening and overnight tonight. You keep saying our tornado chance is low, but not zero. So what is it? It's low. I mean, when I say a tornado threat is low, I mean the threat is still there. When I say the tornado threat is not zero, that means the tornado threat is still there. So anyway, what I'm saying is don't ignore it. Okay? The severe weather threat is low. Is it still there? Yes. So the threat's not zero. Anyway, here's Futurecast. This is 5 o'clock this evening. Steady rain continues. Could be heavy at times. And we'll watch our southern counties for that risk for a few severe storms. Keep on going. 7 o'clock. See that heavy rain slowly starting to push east, but even so, steady rain continues through the night. Keep on going. And we really don't see the big, massive rain move out until we get towards 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And then we'll keep those showers around through the night and into the early part of your Sunday. So tomorrow's not going to be a whole lot better. We'll still have some showers as you're heading out to church or brunch tomorrow morning or whatever plans you might have. And then the story becomes the cold temperatures, if you can believe that. Some colder temperatures. We'll show you those in the 10-day in a moment. The wind advisory has been extended. We originally had the wind advisory until 8 o'clock tonight. The Weather Service wants to extend it a little longer, given the fact that we could have some stronger wind gusts even as this system exits our region. So the wind advisory now goes until 2 o'clock Sunday morning. We may extend the alert day as a result, just kind of a touch and go situation. We'll see. But bottom line, whatever loose items you had outside that you've had anchored down today, just keep them anchored down overnight tonight, and you'll be just fine. So that's the wind component. We've talked in depth about the severe weather component. I'll walk you through the wind gusts briefly here. I'm not sure why it dips to 16 or 29 miles per hour, but look, we're still going to have gusts upwards of 50 miles per hour. This particular forecast model says 60 miles an hour. I don't think we'll see that, but 40 to 50 miles per hour, certainly a good bet. Then we'll see those winds subside, but still be breezy after 2 o'clock in the morning. As far as the flooding potential, we're going to be watching our southern counties and eastern counties in particular for flooding. The flood watch continues until 8 a.m. Sunday morning. We'll see if that that flood watch needs to be extended further west to include Louisville and other communities. But this is the area the models have really been hitting hard for the heaviest rain. And you can see that pretty well. Most spots are going to pick up a solid 1 to 2 inches of rain through this evening and overnight tonight. But you see this yellow zone where the flood watch is in place, basically. So Shelbyville, Bardstown, Lebanon, Campbellsville, Columbia, that's where we have that highest risk for some flooding, be it river flooding, or flash flooding. Here in Louisville, Matt on Facebook is asking, how much more rain here in Louisville? We're likely looking at another 1 to 2 inches of rain here in the city. But what's very, very different about this storm system compared to the one back in February, the ground is a lot drier now than it was a month ago. So we can take in a lot more of this water than we could last time. So the flooding threat not quite as intense as it was a month ago. All right, here's the 10-day. I'll briefly touch on this because I haven't had the chance to update it yet. Obviously, it'll be updated when we talk again later. Cooler tomorrow, much cooler and breezy and showery. Just not a good day to be outside tomorrow, I'm afraid. That high temperature of 50 tomorrow is early. Like, we're talking during the morning. So that high temperature of 50 is kind of misleading. During the day tomorrow, we're talking about temperatures in the 40s. It's one of those backwards days where we start off with warmer temperatures in the morning and colder temperatures in the afternoon. So the temperatures will drop through the day tomorrow. We'll bottom out in the low 30s Monday morning. Winter wants some little revenge, right? As we head into Monday morning. But St. Patrick's Day looks good. Pretty typical for St. Patty's Day. Highs near 60, good bit of sun. And then we'll turn our focus to Wednesday and Thursday. That system does not look nearly as potent as what we're dealing with today. But certainly a few showers and storms are on the table by then. Okay? So that's where things stand at this point, guys. Since I know a lot of you are curious, we'll go back to the situation down south. Since all we're dealing with here is some heavier rain and thunder. No flooding at this time. Get that map one up. You know what? I've got two keyboards in front of me. I was clicking the wrong keyboard. Sorry. Maybe I do need to take a quick nap. Here we go into Mississippi and Alabama. The squall line across Middle Tennessee. Moving into northwest Alabama. Tornado warnings now out for Franklin County, Alabama, I believe. Yep. Tell you what, it's a broken line of semi-discrete supercells. In other words, it's a line of supercells. That's very similar to what we had here or west of us earlier this morning. Let's chime back in to Brad Travis and his team at WAFF and
That's why it can produce a tornado. So if you know someone in Tupelo, especially southeast of Tupelo, big heads up, that may produce a tornado here over time. There is a tornado warning for it, but it does not include Tupelo at the moment. Let's go to Chelsea.
Yeah, Brad, as you were mentioning, make sure you have your shelter place and plan, especially if you're under a warning. That covers portions of southwestern Franklin County at this
Chelsea
time.
Aaron, our colleagues at the Gray Station in Huntsville, are walking everybody through their severe weather plans down there. Good idea for those of you at home. Make sure you know where your severe weather place is. Even if the threat for severe weather is lower tonight than it was earlier this morning. Always good to know, especially as we're really starting to get into that peak of severe weather season. Let's go back to Jackson, Mississippi. Dave Roberts and company at WLBT.
And we do now have a severe thunderstorm warning also for Holmes and parts of Madison and Attala counties. So just a heads up there as well. Remember, we just took a look at that, and it's just a line of storms that doesn't really have any rotation to it, but could be producing some damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour or even some hail. There has been history of hail in these storms as large as about ping pong ball sized hail, $50 sized hail. Anything like that. So our main concern still remains these potential tornadoes that were previously on the ground, one of them, and that did have debris balls associated with them. And one of them still does right over Darbin The secondary potential debris ball that was just near Dean appears to have kind of dissipated a little bit.
That is good news. Let's get some good news out of this. Okay?
Absolutely.
I mean, we have some storm damage earlier, by the way, from the lower Delta. That's where things were active overnight. And this morning, Chase and
so they're still tracking those supercells that are.
These are pictures and video coming in from Issaquah County. And this is from Noel Whiteside. Appreciate you sending that in. Significant roof damage there. Look at all the trees around this house. Hopefully the house didn't suffer too much damage.
This part of Mississippi has been hit pretty hard this morning, and now they're getting hit again with this next round of storms rolling through. So again, that's the situation down to our south. This likely tornado outbreak just getting underway down there. We'll look at this line of storms near Nashville, and oh boy. Let me go to the regular radar here. Yeah, this is a pretty stout line of storms about to move into Nashville. If you know anybody still at the SEC tournament, call them. Let them know what's going on here. Nothing severe. There's still some very heavy rain and potentially some 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts moving into Nashville as we speak. Now, I will say, over the last hour, let me put the radar into a loop real quick, and then we'll probably wrap this up. Yes, this line of storms is moving slowly, which we'll need to watch for that flooding threat we discussed. But it's not necessarily moving as far north and east as I thought it might be. It's moving more like this. So if that's the case, then our severe weather threat would be even lower. So we'll see how that line of storms continues to trend here over the next few hours. I still think there's a narrow window between 4 and 8 o'clock for a few stronger storms you get across our far southern counties. Here in Louisville, I really don't think there's much of a severe weather threat. But we'll need to make sure that we don't get too much clearing in our southern counties. It doesn't take much clearing on a setup like today to get some problems. So we'll continue to watch it. Most of the heavy stuff is still across Tennessee, and at least for the time being, continues to stay across Middle Tennessee. So that's where we are at this point. Most of the severe weather, in fact, all the severe weather is still occurring across Mississippi, Alabama, and we have a few flash flood warnings in Tennessee. All right, guys, that's going to do it for now. We do not have a newscast at 6 o'clock tonight on Wave because of golf. Obviously, if there is severe weather, we will cut into the golf. Sorry, golf fans. I love golf, but we have a job to do. So, again, should we indeed see a rogue tornado warning later on this evening, we will interrupt the golf coverage on Wave and go with extended severe weather coverage. But otherwise, we do not have a scheduled newscast at 6 o'clock tonight. You'll see me back here in the Wave Now studios, likely around our normal time. We usually chat around 7 or 7:30 on weekend nights here on Wave Weather Now. And we'll likely do that again tonight as well. So if you don't see us on TV at 6, that was planned. NBC has golf coverage through 7 o'clock this evening. And we will be back with another look at this severe weather situation and the heavy rain situation here on Wave Now and Wave Weather Now around 7 o'clock this evening. Until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, be careful as you're out and about, and stay weather aware. Of course, if we need to jump back on here on Wave Weather Now or on TV before 7 o'clock tonight, we will do so. Until then, stay safe. Talk soon.